Once you have the walls and the door and window openings cut through the walls, now is a really great time to kind of get this model prepared to have the actual doors and windows installed into those openings. So remember in my previous video about groups and components that SketchUp has that inherent property where if two objects touch each other, they glue together. So if we were to place doors and windows into these openings right now, they would indeed glue to the wall. So we don't really want to do that. We wouldn't be able to modify them or scale them or change them or anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and group this model together. First, we're going to get rid of these pesky little guidelines. So I'm going to go up to Edit and Delete Guides. And you also notice that the actual CAD lines are still located at the top. I'm going to go ahead and drop those down. So currently it's locked because it's red. I'm going to right click directly on the CAD line and I'm going to choose Unlock. And then I'm going to choose the Move command. I'm going to grab it by this top corner right here as the base point. And the CAD lines will follow down all the way to the very bottom. Click to make it stick. And then right click one more time to lock that in place. Alright, so now we are going to go ahead and we're going to group the wall and the floor and all the door openings and window openings. So I'm going to triple click on the model. Now everything is selected. It's okay if the CAD lines are not selected. They don't need to be part of this group. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose Make Group. Once I do that, you can see that when I click on and off that the entire model now highlights instead of just a face or an edge line. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Now if I wanted to go back and change anything to this model, all I simply have to do is right click, choose Edit Group, and you'll know that you're in edit mode because you see these dashed lines surrounding your model. But now it's still acting like it was when I first started playing with this model, and I can select faces or edge lines, and I can also use the push-pull tool if I wanted to change any entity of this space if I wanted to. And when I'm done editing, all I have to do is take the black arrow and click once off, and you're back to your regular SketchUp model. Now it's time to add the doors and windows. So there are a couple ways to go about this. Now what I could do is I could build a model using real world dimensions. So one of the easiest ways of doing that is to visit a door website like Pella, find a door that you'd like, get a picture of it, and do your best to actually model it. Sometimes there are companies who do have SketchUp models for you. I'm not sure if there's any door companies out there who do, but it doesn't hurt to kind of check it out and find out if they do. But for the most part, I found that if I wanted to copy a door that I found that's an actual door by a company, the best thing that I can do is to just model it as best I can here. And that's just using, the shape tools, your push-pull tool, just trying to model it to look the exact same way. The second way is to actually find a model that already exists. So an interesting fact is that SketchUp partners with 3D Warehouse. And 3D Warehouse is a website that modelers share pre-built models with each other. So they have all kinds of models for you to use for free in your projects. So there's a couple of ways that we can access the 3D Warehouse. Here in the large toolbar, you'll see that at the very, very bottom, there are some blue icons. And this one is the one specifically for the 3D Warehouse. So if you click on it, a little window will pop up, and that's how you can access this. I'm going to go ahead and close this. The second way is to come up to Window and go to 3D Warehouse. That will get you the same exact window as you see right here. And the third way is to actually just open up your internet browser and search for 3D Warehouse. Actually, the website is www.3dwarehouse.sketchup.com. And you can download and peruse and look at it that way. But I'm just going to go ahead and choose this first option again so that we get this window. And if you feel the need to, you can kind of stretch the window so it's a little bit easier to see. And when the window uploads, you see quite a few types of previews for various SketchUp models. So you're going to see just about everything here, from fully furnished models, like here's a fancy house, even an electric train that you can download. Here's another home. All the way to different furniture. So here's a chair, a couch, one of those roundabouts that you use in the commercial spaces, and you can kind of peruse through and see what kind of models are actually available for you to use. At the very tippy top, you're going to see something that says all categories. If you click that little arrow, you'll see all the categories that you can find. So they even have animals, guys. This is so crazy. So look, they have all these different things. Oh, goodness. Well, this just goes to show you that anytime that you have a public sharing platform, that you just never know what inappropriate things that you might find in here. But you can see that there's all kinds of stuff. If you want a whale in your SketchUp, you can add a whale. Everybody, a flamingo. Here's a betta fish. Love it. So there's all kinds of different things to find. You can also, I'm going to go back to all categories. You can also use this little search bar right here to actually search for something. So let's look for toilets. I'm just going to type toilet, enter. And here you'll see that 3D Warehouse has uploaded everything that they have labeled as toilet. Some toilets are actual toilets from real companies. Some toilets were invented by a random SketchUp modeler, and sometimes there's models that are associated with toilets but aren't actually toilets. So they could be like bathroom accessories or just fully modeled bathrooms. There's lots to see and choose from, but I'm just going to go back to the top, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to look at this a little bit more. So when you find a model that you like, click on the picture to get more information about the model. And it might be a good idea to really take a peek at the model, so I'm just going to click See More Details. And you'll see that it kind of opens up and you get kind of like a specification sheet of sorts. The reason why it might be a good idea to take a peek is that you need to be mindful of the file size. A toilet in general is not going to be a very large file, but the larger the file you download, the more strain and stress it puts on your project models. So I've seen it where students add these crazy large files to their models, and their project models just keep growing and growing in size until the computer can't manage the file size anymore. So either the project starts to lag, which means it slows down greatly in between commands, or it actually corrupts and students can't access the file anymore. Now, I can't tell you what file sizes are going to give your computer trouble. I mean, it all really depends on your computer, you know, like the processor, the running memory, and sometimes even the graphics driver. But I can tell you to try to avoid super large files or files that have several organic shapes. And it usually seems like it's the curves that can give a file more gigs than not. So things like plants especially can eat up a project pretty fast. Just look for the file size and kind of see what it is. 4 MB, that's nothing. You're going to be fine with that. It's when we start getting into like the thousands and thousands of areas. I've seen file sizes that are, you know, over 100,000. So just be aware of that and be mindful as you look through 3D Warehouse. Now, once you know that you want to upload this model into your SketchUp, all you have to do is click the download button, and it asks you, do you want to directly load this into your SketchUp model? Why, yes, 3D Warehouse, I do. That would be lovely. Thank you. So I say yes, and then it brings me back to my model, and you can see that it is asking me to place that toilet. So if I wanted to, I could come in here and place the toilet. And then I have to rotate it. So I'm going to go to the top, reference angle, and then come around. And then all I have to do is just move it into place. Don't worry too much if the CAD lines don't match up to your toilet. We're going to fix that in a later video, but for now you're just placing it right where it needs to be. So that's how you can bring things in to 3D Warehouse, or from 3D Warehouse. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the 3D Warehouse, and we're going to look for double doors for this entrance. So I'm just typing double doors. And you can look through and peruse to see what kind of double doors they have. Remember that it's going to pick up anything that is labeled double door, so even your kitchen cabinets typically have double doors. So just be aware of that. I kind of liked this first one up here. So I'm just going to kind of check it out and see file size. Here we're getting 88 KB, so that's we're doing okay. I don't think it's going to make any problems for us in our SketchUp file. So I'm going to go ahead and click download. And yes, I do want to download that directly in. Don't put it in right away because you'll see that actually it's too large to fit in that little space that I have. But instead, just drop it out here. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to size it into your openings. I just want to go back to SketchUp to 3D Warehouse, and I want to find a window. So I'm just going to type window. And here it's brought up all kinds of windows. These with the mullions in them are generally more residential. So I think I'm just going to choose, I'll just choose this one. And I'm just going to make sure file size, oh yeah, I think we're doing okay. Download. Yes, please. And then I'm just going to drop it like it's hot so that I can see that I've got windows. And they obviously do not fit in here, but we're going to be learning that in the next video.